out there gets a lot of really bad LinkedIn messages? Yeah. If you're on LinkedIn, you probably get a lot of really poor networking attempts. It's really bad, especially if you are a hiring manager or executive of a company where you're probably getting an overload of messages of people who want jobs that are just so badly written. Hi, my name is Laura Forsick. I'm the executive director of boutique space consulting firm Astrolytical, helping businesses, government entities, and nonprofits to grow in space. In this video, I want to show you some of the worst messages that I have gotten on LinkedIn and explain to you why. And then at the end, explain how you should actually be networking on LinkedIn. This is an example of a lazy message that is probably cut and paste. They have the name of my company in there. I'll give them that credit. Otherwise, this is very generic. It also passes all of the work onto the recipient, where the recipient is wanting to know, who are you? What kind of internship do you want? Why do you want an internship in my company in particular? All of that information should have been given from the start, not as an essay, but a little bit more information in an initial message. Remember, this is a first impression that you're making, and this is not a very good first impression if you want an internship at a company. Also, it's pretty clear that this is a copy and paste message where all they're doing is changing the name of the company. They've done no research to see if my company is actually hiring interns or not, as posted on the company website. And so what they're doing here is simply copying and pasting this same message and changing the name of the company, which tells me that they're actually not that interested in interning at my company. They're just looking for any internship. This is another example of a copy and paste message that comes off as lazy and unresearched and a bit desperate. This person obviously is sending this to many people. I don't know if they're asking for a summer internship at my company or if they're asking me to help them identify internships at other companies, which is not my job. It's asking too much of your networking acquaintances to ask them to do the work for you. You're the one who should be doing the work to see what kind of internships are out there and who are the right people to be contacting, to be networking about those internships. The call to action at the end is also very vague. What kind of help? This is the kind of thing that wouldn't even know how to respond to, and therefore probably didn't respond to it because it's way too open-ended. You really need a very specific call to action that somebody is actually going to be able to say, yes, I can help you do that. This is another very lazy form message, copy and paste. They've done absolutely no research into whether or not I even have a company or a research center. They've not looked at my company's website to see if there are any vacancies. There's also a mismatch between their expertise and what my company would be hiring for, what our expertise is. This is getting a little bit better in that they know my company is a consulting company, but that's looks like about all the research that they've done. They have not actually done any research to know what kind of consulting my company does, because there's a clear mismatch here between their background, which is mechanical engineering, and what my company does, which is not engineering. And it makes me suspect that this is also a form message that they are copying and pasting to all people who work at space-related consulting companies. We're starting to get a little bit better here, a little bit more tailored message. This person has done a little bit of research to know that my company does space analytics, but there is no information here as to why this person wants to work at my company and what they want to do aside from data analytics, which is a very broad term. I could use a little bit more information here about who they are, what kind of data analytics they're interested in, and why they want to work for my company and doing what. All right, this is an almost winner, but not quite. They have done some research here about my company, and that makes a good first impression. That's really the bare minimum, honestly. However, this message is far too casual for a formal networking message. I'm not one to really be very nitpicky about direct messages, having perfect grammar and spelling. However, you do want to make a really good first impression. This is not a text message with your friend. This is a form of professional writing similar to an email. So would you write an email this casual? Also, this is very assumptive. Not even 24 hours later, they assumed that I should have already responded to them. And that's a turnoff. One, I was probably very busy, which is probably why I didn't respond. And not everyone logs into LinkedIn every day anyway. And two, do respond. That's a command. And who is this person who is asking something from me to give me any kind of orders at all? Be very careful about how you phrase things and what you're expecting of somebody who is just an acquaintance of yours. And finally, I want to show you this winner, which was not a LinkedIn message. It was actually an email. But if she had sent this through a LinkedIn message, I would have responded positively the very same way. And I wanted to show you an example of someone who actually reached out to me for networking, who I hired. I hired this person based on the good impression that they gave. First off, it was very personalized. They had read about me, they had read about my company, and they had done all that initial research before they even reached out to me. They asked for my time rather than presuming it. They asked for a conversation to gain further information. And this is super key. You don't know whether a position or a company is going to be a good fit for you. So you actually need to be gathering information, asking questions, asking what the other person or the company needs, and not presume without first asking questions that you are a perfect fit for whatever that company needs. So instead, this person asked for a call to gain further information. She was curious and open and enthusiastic. And during that call that we had, she made some kind of comment towards the end of the call about how she would love to intern with my company. And I hired her on the spot. That is the kind of networking that I recommend that you do. It's a conversation. It's a relationship. It's not you demanding something of somebody. It's not you sending out a form letter to 100 acquaintances. It is a means of directly connecting with an individual to form a business relationship. And that is how you get a good response with your networking on LinkedIn. If you are looking for assistance with networking and with a job search or your career progression, I also do space career coaching. So reach out to me at lauraforsick.com to find out how I can help you progress your space career.